Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Hello, happy Friday. It is the 18th of July. It's just gone 11 o'clock at night. I'm running a little bit behind schedule. And also, if you hear the alarm go off, that's my cue to go and turn the pasta off because my tea is cooking. Well, we've made it through another week and it's been a busy one. I hope it's been a good one for you. The champagne cork has, metaphorically speaking, been popped because I have three dahlia flowers, which is massively exciting. They have been a huge part of my life this year. In fact, all over the winter. And so to get three flowers is amazing. One of them has a stem of about 2 centimeters. So it counts because it's the most beautiful flower, but it's very small. And the flip side to all the excitement, because with everything that goes wrong, that goes right, there's also something that goes wrong. As I was moving one of the adjacent buds to the flower out of the way to get a better photo, what did I find? An earwig just lying there on the bud. So now I have a beautiful dahlia flower and also clearly an earwig problem. And I was feeling this is kind of my fault really. I was feeling very smug about my dahlias because I have not seen any earwigs anywhere near them. And I was thinking it's because I've used road pins and string instead of bamboo canes because they like to hang out in bamboo canes. And because I haven't got enough and I can't get any in the soil, I haven't been using bamboo canes. So I thought, well, I won't have an earwig problem because they won't have anywhere to live. Well, clearly they've found somewhere to live. So I have been looking up some options for how to get rid of them in a non-chemical free way because I don't use any chemicals, pesticides, synthetics, or anything on the plot. And there are a number of options, one of which included making up a little mixture of soy sauce and a vegetable oil, like I guess sunflower oil or maybe olive oil, putting it in a little tuna can tin and luring them in. So apparently they like soy sauce. So, I mean, we have that in common because I eat a lot of soy sauce. And then they drown in the oil, which is not quite so nice. There's also some options with rolled up cardboard and bits and pieces, which I don't know how well that's going to work because it's going to be very wet over the next few days. So I'm going to think about that. But anyway, we've got flowers, and I wasn't even 100% sure that would happen. So yeah, maybe I will actually open the champagne bottle when I sell one. Maybe that would be a good idea. And it's not champagne anyway, it's English sparkling wine because we do not have a champagne budget, much as I would like one. Very quick story, nothing to do with cut flowers, but I felt like I had to tell you this. I went to see the F1 movie with Brad Pitt on Tuesday, and oh my goodness, that man, very sexy, almost once made me want to get into double denim again. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely say go and have a look at it. There's some wonderful shots of the English countryside. I don't know where they filmed it, but it looked really beautiful. And then most of the rest of the filming is at Silverstone, which is a lovely track. And just as a separate issue, we got there and we were obviously running late because I'm late. And we got into our seats, or what we thought were our seats, because it was dark and the film was about to start. And then some late people, I mean, really late people came in, and there's me tutting, like, wow, they've had like all day to get here, forgetting that I'd been late in the first place. And it turned out that we were sitting in their seats, and that's because the guys next to my other half were sitting in our seats. So everybody started to shuffle along, and I don't go to the cinema very often. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just getting the timing right with the birds going to bed and stuff and work and everything else. And we went to a cinema where they have these fancy chairs that have all these buttons and settings and stuff, so that they go forwards and backwards and up and down, and your legs come up and down, all the rest of it. And in my rush to try and get out of my chair, I pushed like this terrible combination of buttons. So the back came forward, my legs came up, and I was kind of squashed in this really odd V shape and then completely stuck, and then all the buttons stopped working. So I was just floundering around, much like an earwig in a whole pile of olive oil. And this lady that was waiting to get in my seat, she said, "Is there a problem here?" And I sort of squeaked, "Yes, I'm stuck in my seat." Anyway, I managed to get out of my seat and move. But I can highly recommend that film. Yeah, fabulous. Um, so it's been a busy week for cutting flowers and flower orders and stuff. So on Wednesday morning, I was cutting for the wedding that's taking place this weekend. So I had 24 hours of hydrangeas in my shower tray again. Didn't matter so much this time. I can manage. There's a workaround. And they were the most beautiful hydrangea. Something marshmallow, and the colors were just like all different shades of white and pink. It was absolutely exquisite. And then I cut foliage for the first time. So I cut some hazel and some beech. And the hazel was quite challenging actually, because the hazel is in with the chickens and it got coppiced over the winter. And then I actually thought we killed it, but it's put on the most incredible new growth, as it's supposed to. And I was in there cutting, and of course the chickens are all buzzing around my feet. Molly, who's one of the babies from this year, has only got one eye functioning and one ear. So he darts around, and clearly I thought his other eye is obviously compensating for the one that doesn't work, but it clearly doesn't compensate all the time. So he darts around under my feet, and I'd just be lifting up my foot and then he'll run straight into it. So it took me quite a while to do that, just so I didn't step on him. And my florist came and picked up the order on Thursday morning, and she was happy with everything. So that is wonderful. And then on Wednesday, oh, hang on, that's the timer. Right, I'll just pause this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So Wednesday, kind of early evening, I guess, I started to see these messages on a local flower growing group that I told you about. And one of the growers on there, she wanted someone else to help out with an order that she had got, and for some reason wasn't in a position to fulfill it. And so I was looking at all this thinking, well, I'm a newbie and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'll just hang back and let the experienced growers go off and do it. And then one by one, they sort of started dropping off for a variety of reasons. And then it was like down to me and one other lady. So this other lady, she obviously had a conversation with the client, and what for whatever reason didn't have what the client wanted or in the right volumes or something. So the other grower said to me, right, kind of like, she's all yours. She's expecting a call from you. I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, I'm too frightened to ring her, so I'll message her. Anyway, the client just rang me directly, and I listed what I'd got, and we came to an arrangement. And she said, let me know the pricing, and then we sorted out that I would cut on Thursday and deliver to her on Friday. So I put the phone down and thought, oh my goodness, like, as you know, the pricing is like my most challenging thing at the moment. And some of these were crops that I had not sold before. So echinacea and monarda. Um, so I went back onto the group and asked for some ideas, or asked one of the girls in the group, and she gave me some ideas. And so I rang the client back and sorted all of that out, and we agreed the pricing and everything, and she was fine. So she was actually really surprised, the client, that I still had nigella flowering, because all of hers had finished. So there are some perks to doing everything late and getting everything in the ground like behind schedule, because by the time everybody else is finished, you've still got stems. Um, so I cut everything Thursday morning, and then I drove off and delivered it this morning. And it was quite a tight delivery slot, so I had to deliver it to a marina, and they have parking in there. You're only allowed to park for 10 minutes, and they've got those number plate recognition cameras up. So it was all a bit fraught getting them in and unloaded, and then off they went onto a little boat. And so they were going off to a wedding this weekend. So I hope they have a great time. And then today I've been working out availability for my lovely florist for next weekend. So, making a list of what I've got, stem lengths, prices, how many I've got available, putting it all into a spreadsheet, and then emailing that over. And then I also sent her photos as well so that she can see. I mean, she did have a look on Wednesday, so she is Thursday, sorry. So she does know what I have, but I just think take photos, label them up, and then she just makes it easier for her to look with the spreadsheet and the photos. And then I also cut a bunch of flowers for myself, which is something that I have been resisting on the grounds of I'm supposed to be selling all of this. It's not for me to enjoy. So I've had loads and loads of sweet peas, and there was a time a month or so ago when I had more cornflower dead-headed bits than I knew what to do with, and then eventually I just stopped bringing them home. But I cut myself a really, really pretty little bouquet with some nigella in it and some achillea, heleniums, some beech foliage, and one echinacea stem. And I'm very proud of it. Looks very, very pretty. And it's struggled slightly in the heat today, but otherwise everything is holding up well. Because it's, I also find it interesting to bring these stems home and test them out, like in a real world situation. Because one of the advantages of selling to wedding florists is that they don't expect the blooms, nobody expects them to last a week because they're going for an event and then after the event, that's it. Whereas, if you're selling to a retail customer and they're going to have the bouquet, on their kitchen table, they're going to expect it to last a week. So I always think it's interesting to bring things home and just test them out and see for myself exactly how long they last and what they do in the vase as well. Now, one of the chickens, Shirley Bassey, has gone broody. And I'm telling you this because I know some of you enjoy hearing about the chickens. So I guess this story is for you. And Shirley Bassey has been broody for weeks now. And I didn't want any more babies because we've had 3 babies this year and 2 of them are cockerels. So that's a whole load of aggravation, that is. They'll stay on the plot, but they'll just have to have separate houses and separate runs. Anyway, I thought we really don't want any more this year. So Florence and Danny Minogue were broody, and I managed to snap them out of it. So they clearly weren't that bothered. Whereas Shirley Bassey, 100% committed to it. So I asked my other half the other day, what are we going to be doing in 3 weeks? Because that's how long it takes to hatch them out. And he just sort of rolled his eyes at me and said, well, we're not going to be going away in the school holidays. So I thought, woohoo, we're good to go on this one. So Shirley Bassey is in one of the stables in a rabbit hutch doing her own thing. And she's got 2 eggs from chickens that are not related to Roland. It's getting increasingly difficult to find somebody that's not related to Roland that is still laying an egg. So we'll see what happens in a few weeks, but very exciting. And meantime, I've just been hoarding all the cut vegetation that I've been cutting down, like in my own garden or anybody else's garden, so that I can either offer it to my wedding florist in a sort of what I'm calling it picky bits. You know how picky bits at a picnic are always better than practically the main event, all the other little bits that people just bring. Love picky bits. So I thought, have a picky bits bucket, and anything random can just go in there. And when the florist comes to collect on Tuesday, she can have a rifle through and take anything that she wants. But I'm also collecting dried or things that I can dry now, and things like old geum stems are really nice because once the petals fall off, you have this sort of tiny little, slightly fluffy ball, which is very pretty. So I'm collecting all sorts of bits and I'm sure they'll come in handy. And we have got loads of rain forecast this weekend and a few days next week. So I am off to see Jurassic Park tomorrow, which I'm massively excited about. A huge fan of all the shows. And hopefully there won't be any seat dramas this time. Okay, well, that is me for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you in particular if you have got in touch with me on the Instagram over the last week. I've had some really nice messages and some suggestions regarding suppliers of sunflowers, which I am going to check out. And thank you if you've sent me a question. I really love hearing from you. It really brightens up my day to see a message or a comment from somebody. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I love it. So please come back and join me on Tuesday. I will have a Dahlia update, or more importantly, an earwig update. I'll let you know how I've got on with that. I'm also going to be able to tell you exactly how much rainwater will be collected over the weekend. Very exciting. I've been checking the levels in the IBCs, and then I'll check them after the rain. And I'll let you know how I got on at Jurassic Park. So have a fantastic weekend. Take care. And please come back next week and join me for the next episode.